Gracias, Dios mío, por la salud que nos das. Gracias por haber compartido, Dios, con este personal, Dios mío, que tú, Dios, los has enviado a este lugar. Muchas gracias, Señor. Yo, Dios mío, me siento, Señor, muy contento, Señor, a través, Dios mío, de que estamos acá compartiendo, Señor. Y ahora, pues, oh Dios, te pido por cada uno, Señor, de estos hermanos, Señor, que, oh Dios, van a tomar...
It's the voice of someone shouting, "Clear the way through the wilderness for the Lord. Make straight a highway through the wasteland for our God. Fill in the valleys and level the mountains and hills. Straighten the curves and smooth out the rough places. Then the glory of the Lord will be revealed and all people will see it together." This verse describing John the Baptist really sums up who we are as a ministry. Ascent Project has always wanted to be more than just a band or creating songs or videos. We want to be something that makes a difference in people's lives. We get to be a part of leveling the mountains and filling in the valleys for people to see a straight way to Jesus. And as we were thinking of ways to do this, we found a great organization that we're partnering with to help some people in Guatemala and to bring the gospel to places that it's never gone before.
We got to partner with an amazing organization called World Help, and they've done incredible things all around the globe and especially in Guatemala. They've been working there with a local ministry called Hope of Life. They've been down there doing these village transformations for many years now, and they've found that this is really the best way to reach the community, through really just investing in a specific village and a specific people.
The village that we adopted is called Volcancito Arriba. Just to paint a picture for you, it was along a dirt road that crossed rivers and waterfalls, and there was rocks and boulders everywhere, and it was just insane trying to drive these trucks up there. But the remoteness and just difficulty to get to this village made it seem as if just the whole country of Guatemala just forgot about these people.
As we made our way through the village, we got to see their water situation, and it was pretty much just a basin full of dirty water. It's regularly polluted. They're just so high up this mountain that there's no solid infrastructure in place to get them regular access to good, clean water.
It was like the people there had just never experienced anyone actually wanting to come help them. We pulled up in some trucks and we pulled around the corner, and there's a ridge, and the village people were pretty much standing as far away as they possibly could. I remember thinking, what are we doing? Like, God really started just tugging on our hearts saying, love these people.
We came up on this one house, and it didn't even have any walls. It was really just a roof. And there was a mom there, and she was pregnant. Actually, she was due probably in only like a month or two. And she had a little kid there, and his name was Brian, and he was just the cutest little guy. And it just hit me at that moment that we were there for kids like Brian, and just a kid like that who's growing up with, you know, a single mom, another kid on the way. It just is amazing how God cares about every single person, and He sent us there for Brian and for all the kids that are in that community. And so we can play a small part in an individual's life in Guatemala, thousands of miles away from us, at the top of a mountain, and God sees him, and He sent us to be able to tell his story and to speak up for him.
And as we were there, like, we started playing soccer, we started playing hacky sack, and just kind of just being welcoming and loving them. And slowly but surely they started having fun, they started to get smiles on their faces. They just started to really experience and understand that we were there to help them.
There's one kid named Santiago that I just can't forget. He really embodied this idea that just all the people that we saw down there were so humble. One of the times that we were all playing soccer, it's upwards of 100 degrees. And the truck that drove us up brought big old containers full of water. And at one point, we opened them up to let the kids have some, but Santiago didn't see that. And he just comes up to me so gentle and like so bashful, and asked me if he could have some of my water. And I was doing my best to tell him that, oh, there's a bunch of water right over there for you. When he finally realized what I was saying, just like booked it over to the truck, and their little boots just like, it's so awesome. But yeah, that kind of attitude was something that I saw a lot down there. Nobody, you know, thought they were entitled to anything. And even as we were bringing things to give them, they were so patient.
Pastor, mi nombre es Narciso Morales y Morales, pertenezco a la Iglesia de Dios Evangelio Completo. Mi testimonio es muy grande de dónde me sacó Dios. Yo llegué a un extremo de que mi cuerpo quedó amarillo, a punto de morir, de mucha marihuana, mucho pegamento, alcohol y todo lo que es tomada de licor. Anduve hasta descalzo en las calles del Petén. Y la verdad es que nunca pensaba yo que iba a estar en un pastorado, pero gracias a Dios, que Dios un día se acordó de mí, ¿verdad? Como dice Lucas 19:10, dice que porque el Hijo del Hombre vino a buscar y a salvar lo que se ha perdido, ¿verdad? Entonces, de esa parte soy yo. Dios llegó, me tocó, me levantó para que ahora predique la buena nueva de salvación. Tengo este compromiso con el Señor de estar siempre predicando la palabra en este lugar, hablando de la buena nueva salvación a los perdidos, a aquella gente que no conoce de Cristo.
The first day we were there, we got to sit in the little tiny church building and talk to the pastor there, and we just kind of felt the true passion and the true appreciation he had for us coming. Because he said that the whole village there was literally praying for something, some sort of help. And so us, like just a couple random dudes who like to play music and like to worship God, literally were the answer to their prayer.
I just remember being so just impacted by this picture of these two little girls sitting in a sink-like thing where they kept their water, and it was just muddy water, but what they drank out of. And these two little girls, probably 4 years old and a little infant, and the 4-year-old was just holding on to her. And I just remember seeing this picture and just being so deeply moved that these girls, these amazing, beautiful children of God, were just sitting there and were alone, and being able to go and wrap them in a hug and be the hope of Christ. I just remember just being almost brought to tears at that point, just thinking, wow, these small people in Colorado, in the US, so many miles away from them, could actually be a 3-year answer to prayer. And it's just amazing. The world says that so many things are important, that so many things are worth our time and our attention, but I just realized at that moment that nothing else mattered to them, that we were their answer to prayer, that we were able to bring the hope of Christ and give them meaning and give them new hope.
We're believing for an entire village transformation that includes buildings and infrastructure and things like that. But God, we believe for transformation of the people's hearts here. God, that all 450 people would get to know you.
Oh, the atmosphere is changing as broken hearts are restored in you. The floors of hell are shaking now, 'cause our God has come to make all things new. Oh, and I can hear it rising. It's the sound of praise to the King of Kings. So open up.
We're here in the beautiful village of Volcancito Arriba. We get to make long-term relationships, and I look at these beautiful mothers and I realize that they have hopes and dreams for their children just like any other mother. And thank you for being a part of Village Transformation and what you're doing to invest in the lives of the people in Guatemala.
School isn't a big emphasis in this village, and really a small percentage of the kids go because of the lack of facility there, and also because a lot of them are working in the fields and the coffee plantations from an early age. And really education is the main thing that's going to change the culture of this community and the sustainability. And so it's huge to provide them with a new school building, to make upgrades so that education becomes more of an emphasis in this community and so that kids want to come to school. Really what we learned there was they grow up thinking that growing coffee is the only way to make money for their lives, but it's really not that good of living that they're making off of coffee. And so really they said that education is the main thing, getting them to think out of the box, getting them to develop other skills that can actually bring in more income in the future and really change the cycle of poverty that they're experiencing in this community.
Mi nombre es Ismar Pérez, trabajo para Esperanza de Vida en el área de proyectos. Mi trabajo es visitar las comunidades, ver las necesidades que tienen y luego llevarles ayuda por medio de World Help y Esperanza de Vida. Muchas personas ahora pueden consumir agua limpia, tener una escuela digna y también asistir a una iglesia en la cual se adora a Dios con todo el corazón. Aproximadamente hemos bendecido como unas 60 comunidades ya.
The plane ride back, I was actually talking to a guy and he said, oh yeah, Hope of Life and World Help, we know all about them. They really are what's making the biggest difference in Guatemala. He said the government's not doing anything to actually help these people. They just want to exploit the people. But then he told me, really in Guatemala, it's known that World Help and Hope of Life are making an actual lasting impact.
So through this partnership with an amazing organization called World Help, we're just so excited to launch this campaign to raise a God-sized number of $100,000. And we're believing big for God to come through and for you to help us do that. And that $100,000 is going to cover a new water system for them, a new church, a new home for the pastor. It's going to cover a school building and playground and bathrooms. And so it's just going to completely change their infrastructure there at Volcancito Arriba and give them hope for a better life. And most importantly, we believe that this not only is going to reach their physical needs, but we believe that it is going to level the mountains and fill in the valleys for the glory of God ultimately to be revealed. And that's our biggest prayer, is that these people would, through this project, would see the hope of Christ, would see the life that He laid down for them, and that the people there would just come to know Him. So we just ask you guys to partner with us as we bring the hope and the love of Christ to the people of Volcancito Arriba.